On this week's episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio, we've got a COVID update for proposed state number 6. John gets all fired up about Ceres and local government. All this and more coming up on this episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio. Well, good morning and welcome to this episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio. I'm Matthew, technical producer of the show, joined by our host, John. Justin, how are you gents doing this morning?
I don't know. Do we have any pre-show alcohol talk or?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't have
nothing
any.
out of the ordinary.
I consumed no alcohol last night, so
I had a small amount, but less than the previous weekends.
So Mark Whitehead will enjoy the fact that
Yes.
we are curtailing our
Yes.
adult.
Yeah, I'm
beverages.
actually tapering off.
You're curtailing your alcohol.
I gave myself like a month of wild weekends to go just cut loose and have fun. I need to get back to making money now again, you know. But
Now
Makes
he's
sense.
going to be upset that we talked about getting serious.
well,
John,
we'll meet in the middle somewhere.
I don't think you're going to win. I don't think anybody's going to win.
I know the intelligence there.
Intelligence.
doesn't go
I don't
It's
think I
lacking.
could ever be serious enough to upset him if that's an issue for him.
No. I think the lack of your seriousness would upset him.
Right.
Yeah.
Which would be most of my existence.
So hopefully this has been a 3-week lesson on things not to say to the host of a podcast, or you become the victim of ridicule at the beginning monologue.
Pretty much.
So
Pretty
how was Matthew's week?
It was good.
It's good. Well,
I worked.
you
Was
worked.
it? I do work. I
Damn.
do.
I thought all we did was run our mouths.
That's only on the weekends and in city council meetings.
So, but you broke a couple bolts in your.
I did break a couple
project.
bolts. I can hand tighten to 7 foot-pounds and then over torque
And then some.
beyond that. Yeah, and
You
then
can-
some.
You can probably very easily hand torque to about 25, 30 foot-pounds.
Well, I swear that I had tightened the bolt just so it contacted. Apparently, I went slightly beyond that. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I bought 8 more bolts just in case.
So just so everybody in the world knows, when you are torquing into some aluminum, they usually provide you with a bolt that'll snap before you pull the threads out of the surface of the head. But
Yeah, so I broke it and then was able to pull it out.
but Amazon's going to bring Matthew some brand new Subaru bolts.
Not Amazon.
Oh, okay.
OEM parts supplier.
Whatever.
I'm not buying that on Amazon
Why not?
because I don't want to.
They're all Japanese
Actually,
bolts
I don't know.
anyways.
I didn't even look on Amazon. I just went to the OEM parts supplier that I always use. It was $20 for 4 bolts.
That's
Not
$5
terrible.
a bolt.
Yes, but it
That was some
technically-
great basic math skills you just demonstrated.
Well, I can do that.
I can tell.
I did
for
that.
for
I did-
8 bolts, I think that's $250 a bolt. But
Oh, you bought
we're
8?
getting close. Getting close. Yes.
Okay, wow.
The part, I believe, like
I'm trying to
You're
keep up with Mark Whitehead.
I don't think that's keeping up. I think that's exceeding. Okay.
However,
You have a show topic.
well, I got a, at least
A thing.
I don't know, a segment topic.
A rough
Okay.
outline.
Kind of like we did at the beginning of the show last week. Do some COVID stuff. It's too easy not to do COVID stuff, right? Because
It's the main story.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've been a year with this. We got to curtail our lives because SARS mutation has sprung up. Whether it was engineered or not in some Wuhan lab, China, we don't know. But I don't know, gentlemen. If you notice, I'm going with that proposed state 6 and the Americans Restoring Representation 8 from 1 state split concept. and that would include Fresno, Inyo, Kern, Kings, and 2 Larry counties. Now, it's kind of like the same thing we did last week. Percentages, actual numbers. Overall, what is that? 5 counties with
Yeah, looks like
total population of 2,545,415 folks. About what, a third again more than what we are here in this what we're calling Ahwahnee with 1.88 million. So let's just take Fresno County. Is a population of 99,900. So what is that? 999,101 people.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
Yep.
2019 estimates, because our 2020 census figures won't be out until July or so. Due to COVID, because we can't, release the numbers because we can't count because
Calculators don't work in COVID.
Right.
no, employees don't work in COVID. We have made lazy.
Remote
No,
work?
yeah,
Yes.
we have made lazy.
Yeah, you're acting
Well,
as if
that too.
information can be transmitted online or something, Matthew,
Yeah.
or
No,
through the mail
sorry.
even,
No,
or
but
by
we,
telephone,
yeah, but we've justified.
or by telegraph, or by smoke signal, or passenger pigeon.
We've justified laziness in the workplace through
Oh, yeah.
the acceptance of SARS-CoV-2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have like one of those you can work from home. Sure, ship me the material in a workspace and I'll do the work and I'll send it back to you. Yeah,
But
see,
somebody
that doesn't
still
work
has
in
to
my
go
occupation.
into the shop and cut the shape of the sign out
Exactly.
of the aluminum.
Exactly.
Cut
Yeah,
the
exactly.
vinyl.
So I'm fortunate that I have a job that allows me out of the house 5 days a week.
Yeah, there are definitely days where
I'll
I'd like to
definitely
get out
get a
of the house.
pass when it comes time for the little badge, to show them that we're allowed to leave our dwelling.
I'm unfortunate in the fact that I understand multiple industries, and I should know less about the sign-making industry since I am not in that employ.
Well, you know what's funny? A lot of people probably wouldn't really think that sign making would be a real political job. And it's not per se, but like politics are relevant and discussed and pertinent and prevalent in our occupation because we're making the signs that have all the stupid laws on them. All the regulations and the rules and the restrictions.
Yeah, wear masks.
And then we
beyond this
also
point.
and we also do work with a lot of local municipalities, different local governments, cities
No.
and counties. And,
No, you work with the employees of the.
well, right. They come.
municipality.
Right. They come to us on behalf of the municipality.
Right. Okay, so 999,101 people in Fresno. They've had 95,015 cases, 1,422 deaths, for a case-to-population rate of 9.510, a death-to-case rate of, again, under 2%, 1.497, and a death-to-population of 0.142. So they're doing better than Stanislaus County. Of course, they have almost twice as many people. Median age, 32.2 years old. Here we get to Inyo County. Remember, Mono in our proposed state of Ahwahnee was 14,000 and some change. Inyo, directly south of Mono County, is 17,977 people. Unlike Mono, with almost 70% case positivity rate, or case to population rate, Inyo has experienced 1,264 cases with 36 deaths. Their case to population rate is 7.031%. Death to case rate is 2.848%. And their death to population is 0.20%, even under 1% again. But where were we with Mono County? They were like at 69% case to population rate, and I recall myself saying something about something was weird with the numbers there in Mono County because of where it was. Now, look, we're talking 2 counties directly on the east side of the Sierras with a population difference of around 3,000 people. I mean, give or take, folks. Don't be like, well, they were 14.5 and these are almost 18.
You know, one thing you might want to consider, though, about Mono County is it's got a lot of like outdoor visitor destinations, so it might have drawn people in even though everything was closed. You know what I mean? People might have gone there to do the outdoorsy stuff, bringing in outsiders that spread stuff around.
This is hard numbers. We can't speculate on what caused the numbers
that's true.
to be
That's
what
true.
they are.
You're just talking about what's been reported.
And I'm just looking at hard numbers in Inyo and Mono County in this discussion. And then both
and it's a stark difference.
Being very similar counties with like the only real draw there is outdoor recreation in both counties. I mean, you don't go to Inyo County
That's
because
true, yeah.
you want to go to the mall.
Right.
So or even go to a fine dining establishment.
Here, I got the 2 of them pulled up side by side here. Let me increase my, hold on. Keep on talking. I'll
my point is, most of the things are outside, and you can social distance.
Right.
And the fresh air is there in both of those counties. So with them both having the same exact type economy and the same exact recreational activities and draw to the same exact group of public.
Right, it should be happening in Inyo then as well.
Well,
if
Mono.
that were the case, if it were the case,
and they're similar populations. We're both counties with populations under 20,000.
Right. Well, I thought Mono was the one with the really high numbers.
Yeah, they are with the really high numbers.
Can you guys see this?
Matthew's made a thing up here. We don't have our screen today. But see if you look over Matthew's shoulder here.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. If it was tourism was the cause of it, then you'd have high numbers in Inyo as well, not only Mono.
Well, in case the population rate 69.371 in Mono County and 7.031 in Inyo County. So what did I say last week? There's something going on with the numbers in Mono County.
Right.
Mono County was even the outlier in proposed state 401, right? Mm-hmm. With this drastically different number compared to everybody else.
Right.
And now the county right next to them with the same recreation,
it's
the same
super
outdoor,
low.
is super low. What's going on? And I would almost say if we start researching the county health director in Mono County or talk to the locals about what's going on, there would probably be some concurrence with my point of view that it's a political situation, and that's why their numbers are 69% versus Inyo just south of them.
Mm-hmm.
Same basic lifestyle, economy, this, that, the other. Same wind patterns even because they're on that east side of the Sierra.
Right.
What are we? 34 more people, 3,400 more people, 3,500 more people.
Yeah.
And yet we have almost 10,000 cases in Mono.
Yeah.
And under 1,500 in Inyo. Yeah. And the people in Inyo are older than the people in Mono County by
like
they
8
have
years.
an older population.
So
it's 38.3 versus 45.8.
So what do you have here though? Okay, you have a separation of 2 graduating classes of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So is the problem in Mono County that more of them are running out to test because they believe that the government is supreme and that everything they're being told is true, accurate, and correct? And the 45-year-olds in Inyo County are like, the same as me, same as you, that same, basic generation of people. Mm-hmm. And are like, I'm not sick, I ain't going no place.
Right.
Even if I am sick, I live in Inyo County, so I don't have to go no place.
Right.
You know, the way the different groups of age groups deal with information. We know, we've talked about it, how sometime in the 90s, early 2000s, things shifted.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking 46 is the median age and 38's the median age. That's, 8 years difference.
Right.
And shortly after I graduated in 94, we were saying things changed drastically. You want to know what the difference is? The difference is who trusts the government and who doesn't trust the government.
Right.
Because they ran out to get their COVID test, and the other county obviously hasn't. Because these are numbers based on positivities from tests. They're not. You don't get numbers from people who don't test.
Right.
So it's either that or somebody's playing games politically with the numbers.
Right.
I would still think that there's some political gameplay with the numbers.
Some fudging of them.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
possible for sure.
Well, we know that statewide. We know that nationwide
Right.
because they've already said that.
The
multiple...
CDC put it in their own words, yeah.
Well, and everybody said in the beginning we were counting, and we're still doing it. If you take a test and you got COVID positive now, right? But you already had COVID and recovered 6 months ago, they're going to count you again. And then we know that they're looking for genetic markers in your DNA, basically.
Well, and the tests are so erratic. I mean,
yeah,
could
CDC
be false
says
positives, could be false negatives.
50% of a false positive.
You could get a
positive,
positive, then a negative, then another positive.
Well,
or vice versa.
Well, and Elon Musk got it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Whatever.
So we got to get to so Inyo County, a lot different than Mono. Kern County includes Bakersfield and quite a big area south of Tulare.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 909,202 people, 103,000 cases, 826 deaths. They have a case-to-population rate of 11.329. Death-to-case rate of 0.802. So far they have the lowest death-to-case rate that we've examined. And a death-to-population rate of 0.091, again, which is the lowest that I've seen, and that would be 9, 10, 11, 12 counties. And under 0.1%, with a median age of 31.6. So Kern County's doing really good. A lot of Hispanics there. Well, you wouldn't think that they were doing so good if you listen to KCRA 3 News. Kings County, this is Visalia, Hanford, and like that. 152,000 people, 940,000 people, 22,008 cases, 218 deaths. Case to population rate here, 14.390 persons. Death to case rate of 0.991%, so right there around that 1% area, and a death to population of 0.143%. 31.8 median age, so right there in the same neighborhood as Kings County. Tulare County, 466,195 people, 47,784 deaths, or cases, 746 deaths, 10.25% case to population rate, 1.561 death to case rate, 0.160% death to population rate, median age of 31 years of age. Overall, we already did their totals overall, but if you want to compare the death to population rate of that proposed state 6 at 0.128, floating right there with the state of California at 0.123, And we were here in Ahwahnee, or the proposed State 4, at 0.189. So the southern San Joaquin Valley doing much better if you look at that number by like, what would that be, 50 thousandths of a percent. So when you say much better, it's relative, right? Because
Yeah.
we're all
It's such a minor fraction anyway, yeah.
We're all doing golden, you know. Their case to population rates up a little bit over the average. The state percentage is 8.9. We here in these 9 counties of Ahwahnee were 9.28, and they're 10.571. So that the case rate, though, they're doing way better than the state and us here in the northern San Joaquin Valley with their 1.2. The state's 1.38, almost 1.4, and we're 2.03. So I don't know why the Central Valley's in widespread. We've done both of our we've covered the Central Valley last week and this week. We got the numbers here, and it's we're even looking over the east side of the Sierras, the entirety of that in these numbers. So you people are being manipulated, steered, and lied to by the state government. And it's not the legislature doing it, it's the executive branch doing it. I don't know if you gentlemen noticed the name that I threw up for that proposed state number 6.
Yeah, I was wondering who Allen is.
Well, the name's Allensworth.
Right. So I assumed it's named after someone, Allen.
So pull up some information on the Corporal Allensworth State Historical Park, Matthew.
Oh.
And I'm going to go off on a little different tangent and calmer, I hope, for our second little segment here in today's episode.
Well, you stayed relatively calm in that.
Well, I mean, these are numbers. There's nothing to get excited about, right?
Oh, you just mean in general comparison?
Well, in comparison to last week where we're discussing, a bunch of whiteheads.
When you probably had to go take a nap after.
No, it was good. I stayed up all day. Enjoyed some popcorn on the couch watching Discovery Plus, I think.
Allensworth? Did I get the right person?
I don't know.
So it was
Corporal Allensworth.
Here we go. Colonel Allensworth State Historic Park. I got this.
Oh, Colonel.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
So this,
just
well, however,
just a little bit.
No, I need to get to that. I need to get to that park. Here's the thing. The rank is that of a Civil War officer.
Oh, okay.
I really hope the Turlock and Stanislaus area Black Lives Matter people are going to listen. I'd almost ask you, Matthew, to tag those movements in our show notes.
I could try to do that. Yeah.
Colonel Allensworth was a Civil War officer who relocated his entire family to the Kern County area. Went into a large African American farming community. The Allensworth State Historical Park is the area of land that they owned. Turned out to be very affluent, very wealthy people in California. Not someone you hear a lot about. But I think with the current political push to shine light on political so-called atrocities that happen to a group of people based on race. And the Black Lives Matter movement is absolutely hijacked this we want to be an inclusive society deal and turned it into a political terrorism type of situation. Nobody talks about men like Colonel Allensworth, right? Nobody even, how many Californians even know that a black Civil War officer came out here and started an all-black community in Kern County, where they were all farming and ranching and very successful.
No, they'd probably tear his statue down too, not knowing any better.
Well, because all these idiots see is a bronze statue.
Right. That's my point.
Statues
That's
have
my
no
point.
color, right? They're
That's
all
my
the same.
point,
They're
yeah.
all like dark brown. So
They
why
wouldn't-
would you tear down a dark brown statue any freaking way if you're proposing that
Well,
dark brown skin
Tearing
matters?
down statues doesn't solve any problems anyway.
That's
it
not
just
my
gives
point,
them something
though.
to rally around.
That's not my point. You're
that was
pretty
a
much
side note.
educated. You're pretty much educated in California, right? In the public school system.
Yeah,
Did you don't know who this man was?
I've never heard of him. No.
Never. Why don't they? Why do we learn about what the Catholic priests did in establishing missions under Native American slave labor,
Right.
but we don't learn about Colonel Allensworth that had a prosperous community of people of African American descent that happened to be United States citizens?
Right.
I mean, these people.
Someone who actually did good, you mean? He contributed.
No, they were just plain ass hardworking Americans,
Right.
right? But it doesn't
Contributing to society.
right, but it doesn't contribute to the ongoing political conversations in the state as far as how to apply affirmative action or special consideration to one group. I would think if the black community or the Hispanic community could see that this man and his group of associates in the early 1900s in California, in the racial Central Valley, right, were able to thrive and succeed, and I mean, still to this day, that his descendants are very affluent in the Bakersfield community. And I can think of no better way to honor that man and honor the sacrifice of the African American citizens of post-Civil War California and post-Civil War United States than to suggest that group of counties, when they form their state, if they so choose, under the 8-from-1 divided together, Americans Restoring Representation state split concept, that they honor that man, and I'm going to start referring to that area as Allensworth for a state split proposed state name.
Right.
And I need to get down and see the park and learn more.
What town is it in?
It's near Early Mart. So, south of Tulare County, in between Tulare and Bakersfield.
Okay. It's a state park?
It's a state park.
Okay.
It's going to cost you like $6-8 a person to get in.
Yeah, to park for a few hours or whatever.
And walk around
Get
the
a
town
day
like
pass,
you
yeah.
would in like what we have over here in Mono County. We have Bodie.
Right.
You know, the ghost town there. It's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
like that type of situation.
Oh, okay. That would be
or
cool.
like a Columbia type of situation.
Right.
What I can gather from the photos, and I need
That's
to get
cool.
down and check it out.
Yeah, that would be
You
cool.
know,
Maybe we take some cameras and make a show out of it.
hey, I'm down.
That would be cool, dude. I'd be up for a trip like
Maybe
that.
maybe Matthew
Yeah.
could come, bring Sarah.
Yeah.
We get Sarah on the podcast for once.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. How's that social media outreach coming?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I have no idea. We could ask her.
Well,
I think she's watching.
is she, or are we still on Hawaii Standard Time?
No, she was up.
Oh, okay.
Baby woke her up at like 7 this morning.
Anyhow,
she's been
I
up
mean,
for a
I
bit.
can't. Now, some people that listen to us also listen to Chris Ann Hall, and they'll know that J.C. Hall is a direct descendant of Colonel Allensworth.
Mm-hmm.
But this has no bearing on my desire to honor the individual.
Yeah, no, it seems reasonable.
From history. And so everybody in the State of Jefferson movement knows the Halls didn't give me the idea to do this. I've been seeing the Colonel Allensworth sign for many years driving down the highway.
Right.
I had researched in the past before I even was listening to the Chris Ann Hall Daily Journal or the Hall family, Colonel Allensworth, and wondered for years why no one has done anything other than this state park in this area to honor the man,
right?
Or to even disseminate information to our school children about him. Or look, we have so-called campaigns, educational campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
We throw billboards up on the side of the highway, wear a mask, keep people safe. There has not one billboard ever been on the 99 that said a Civil War officer and a black man contributed to this community.
Right. So is the park like the remnants of the original town that he created?
Well, from what I can gather looking
probably
online, yeah, and they have
cool.
brochures and nonprofit organization or committee type thing that helps keep the park going and up.
Right.
I want to get down there and learn more. I don't know a whole lot.
Cool.
I wish I knew more. I could tell you, but I don't.
Right.
But maybe everybody, we're gonna get sued by Huelhauser's, children if we go or
start
PBS if we go
gig.
down there and do a show based on it. I don't care. Come after us, whatever. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll do it in a different format.
Doesn't matter what format
Yeah,
we do
I know
it
it
in.
doesn't matter. Huelhauser doesn't own that.
Huel's dead anyways.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My dad watches him on PBS. That's
the replays of the shows,
but...
and they're educational. And
right.
Unfortunately, we don't have him anymore, and we don't have that type of show very often, except for, thankfully, we have the archives and the reruns that he did. He thought it was important to do this education. He may have
California history, yeah.
And he may have done one on Colonel Allensworth that I never saw. I'll have to go back and see if I can find it. But like I said, we need to honor that man. We need that community to step up and say, yes, let's honor him. Let's get behind this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need them behind the 8 from 1.
Right.
We need them to realize that all these things affect their community as well.
Right.
Right? I know that part of the valley isn't happy with what's happening in Sacramento politically.
Oh, no. Yeah, there have been lockdown protests in Fresno. Big time.
Well, and I'm more like in that South Valley, Bakersfield, and all this as well.
Mm-hmm.
How I don't know. I should have give it to Matthew ahead of time. How much of a song could we play before we have to pay people to play it?
30 seconds.
So I don't know. Some people may be familiar with the Smoking Armadillos. They're a Bakersfield-based
I remember them.
group.
In the 90s, yeah.
So they came out with a song called...
Well, I think you can quote lyrics, right? Even if you don't play the song.
I don't care. I'd play the whole damn song and give them credit for the song. And
They'd probably be happy we did it because no one knows who they are.
No, a lot of people know who they are.
No, they were huge back then, yeah. They're forgotten now, but...
They're not. I mean, they did 2 shows at the Fox Theater down there in Bakersfield and sold them out. And added like a 3rd show.
Right.
And then we're like... I'm
just saying you're not going to see them on any of the
bullshit
award shows or CMT or none of that like commercialized corporate bullcrap.
No, right.
That's what I meant by they're not. They were like that famous at one point.
They did go national.
Yeah, at one point they were that famous.
You know what? But they're one of California's local gems.
Mm-hmm.
That Smoking Armadillos.
Yeah,
group.
I remember them. They were
And
cool.
I mean, we've kind of changed this from a political thing to an educational thing, and now to a music thing, right?
Hey, culture.
So the song's called "The Other California," and man, I'd love for them to contact us, or I've been contemplating needing to contact.
We could
them
probably reach out to them
and kind of making it like a, hey, can we use this for the intro to
like
this
our
show?
theme song. That'd be cool.
Because it says what Americans Restoring Representation says. It says what our generation, the generation that watched these guys, that fell in love with this band at the fairs, they did the free stages at all our local fairs. They're local boys. They're Bakersfield boys, but a Bakersfield boy, Bakersfield girl, Modesto boy, Modesto girl, Stockton. We're all pretty much the same people, right? And I mean, everything goes.
Place to cue it up, but
everything goes to. We are all being abused by Sacramento, and I know it's not a sitting on a bar stool foaming your stash type of situation. I think it goes to the heart of the argument even better than that State of Jefferson song. But Matthew's got the thing.
Right side of the left coast, out in the Golden State. I'm from the other California, out in the hills, far from political backroom deals. We're the heart of the underground revolution.
And if you don't think that leads right to what my attitude, my viewpoint, and even that of the previous generation was Sharon's attitude and Sharon's viewpoint, and that of everyone involved with Americans Restoring Representation. What did that say? The heart of the underground revolution. Well, I've started a revolution in Jefferson that started this Americans Restoring Representation. And this whole valley's pissed off with Sacramento and the politics coming out of there.
Right.
The north part of the state's pissed off with the politics coming out of Sacramento. And it's not Sacramento as a region or as a people.
Yeah, you mean as a capital.
It's
the state government.
It's the sitting state government.
Right.
And it's that influence of just on the other side of the grapevine from Bakersfield, where these guys are from, that LA control and that San Francisco Bay Area control that absolutely terrorizes the rest of this state. They wrote a song about it.
Right.
And they nailed it. Now it's a country genre.
I don't know if I ever realized they were that local to us. I remember when they were big, but I don't know. I didn't follow them. I was pretty young.
Them guys are writing music just like in rooms like we're doing. I mean, a nicer room though. They're into music, right? They were a band, so they I don't know. Have you ever heard of Indiegogo or whatever? I think it's Indiegogo.
Yeah. Their campaign was on Indiegogo.
So, I mean, their stuff's on iTunes. I buy it on iTunes.
Right.
I follow them because
I knew them more by name than anything. They sound like they'd be a Texas band. I mean, we don't have armadillos in California, do we?
I don't know.
It sounds better than baked possums, right?
We might in the Mojave Desert.
Do we? Maybe that's what I was asking. I'm not totally sure.
Because
but...
you know why
Google says yes.
Oh, we do?
You know why a lot of people
are unaware.
A lot of people are drawn to California and stay in California is because we have every climate on earth right here in our state within 4 or 5 hours from you.
Right. So my apologies to Smoking Armadillos for being critical of their name.
Apparently they're not native, but they are.
They've migrated.
Or somebody.
Or they were implants.
Yeah, implants. I'm still trying to look it up. But
I think it's kind of hard for an armadillo to be an invasive species, though. They eat,
Yeah,
like,
they're very defensive.
but they eat
little-
like bugs, bro.
Yeah. Exactly.
How many armadillos would it take to like destroy the native insect population of California?
Yeah,
apparently
it'd take a lot
armadillos
of them.
carry leprosy. I didn't realize that.
Leprosy?
Had no idea.
Wow. That's one you don't hear about too often anymore.
Yeah. No, apparently it's a thing, and
What does leprosy cause? That's the like
That's like a
splotchy
rotting
skin
disease.
Yeah.
It makes your
rots, yeah.
skin rot. Yeah, it's usually from just living in like squalor and uncleanly conditions.
So, gentlemen, we have a new.
That's like a
new
biblical
cartoon
thing.
Style mascot. He can have a cigarette and he can have pussy wounds. Sorry to take it there, but
and of course our battery died on the camera.
we haven't even been that long.
Somebody forgot to plug it in last night, and that may or may not have been me.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, that was my fault. Hold on, I'll swap it over.
I mean, but seriously, I mean, we got a song from a local group,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't hear anything out of them for a long time.
Right. I didn't know they were still together.
Well, they just grew up and had to get day jobs.
Right.
I mean, I think, to be honest,
Hey, you're talking to a semi-professional working
When you-
musician, dude. I know what it's all about. I work, but I like to play gigs too.
they went national, of course, everybody around here would have bought their albums and like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were at the end or the beginning of a change in the genre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you either went all Luke Bryant or you stayed semi-true to that route,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you had like, you're competing with Brooks and Dunn, you're competing with George Strait, you're competing against these guys that have been in the industry forever. You're a group of young men coming into your own.
Mm-hmm.
I think the desire to start families and like this, and when you get significant others and you start getting serious about each other, your life changes. Your interests change.
Right.
So maybe music at that point took a back seat to them having real lives.
Right.
And now they're all,
Well, and it doesn't mean they gave it up entirely either.
well, I mean, they just
there's more to being a musician than just being like on TV and a superstar.
came out of the public spotlight, the national touring deal.
Right. But
and-
they might have
and
still been
went
playing
to-
local or whatever,
Well, people wouldn't be begging for shows if they were not on a hiatus.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They may have been getting
Right,
together.
because the same
and
thing
doing
happened
this
with
stuff.
Flying Blind, which is around. They're even more
You know what,
local.
Flying Blind, man.
Well, I'm not
Where did they
huge
start?
into them.
I'm just
They're
saying.
from Houston.
Yeah, no, hold on. We'll get the Flying Blind. So Smoking Armadillos, they go and get jobs like you.
Mhm.
You're doing signs. One of them is doing rental equipment. One of them's selling
Right,
stuff.
right.
They're all doing regular jobs like you, I, and Matthew, right?
Right.
But raising a family and this and that, and come back like 25 years later, 24 years later, whatever, and do some shows down there in Bakersfield due to popular demand and due to a couple songs that they've recently, and when I say recently, in the past couple years, written and released, and
Right.
and good wholesome country music like that, same kind of thing like we heard with the other California,
Right.
to the point stuff. They have those 2 or 3 shows, sold out shows in Bakersfield, where they got their start,
Right.
and then you say Flying Blind. Where did they do their first shows?
I would think the Fat Cat, but I'm not sure.
Troy's Mint Club,
Oh, really?
which is now the Twin
On
Rivers
132.
Saloon.
Yeah. Wow. No, I didn't know that.
So
I just knew they were local too, and but they're not country. They're
Yeah,
more like
so-
of a pop rock thing. But
eh,
I'm not here to talk their
The-
music or critique them. I'm just saying they're a band that's local that got kind of big. You know what I mean? And then they stopped doing shows. So when they came back, everybody's like, yeah,
So 5, I want to say, well, maybe 6 years ago now, they did a show at Twin River Saloon.
Right, I remember that.
It was Troy's Mint Club.
My
When they
band opened for
started,
them
it
at
was Twin River
the Fat
Saloon.
Cat one time.
Oh, at the Fat Cat?
Yeah, one of the bands I played in.
Well, I don't know. I seen them at Twin River Saloon.
Yeah, I remember when they
Flying
played out
Blind.
there.
Uh,
Yeah, I know Twin Rivers. I've spent some time out there.
do they only like you when you're high?
I don't know.
And do you know
Oh, who the band you mean?
whose song that is?
The band doesn't even know me. I know that's their song, their
I mean,
one-hit song or whatever.
The Twin River Saloon.
Yeah.
They only like you when you're high?
Well, I've smoked pot with the owner.
Or do they like you on Tuesdays?
If that's what you mean.
Or do they like? Or do they? Hey, I hope that Modesto Stanislaus News and Incident Feed is sharing us today because we're talking about local bands, Flying Blind. I don't know if they'll ever
Local venues.
if they're only ever get back together again. But Twin River Saloon, I believe it's Tuesday nights. It's not
Cook your
Taco
own
Tuesday.
steak.
It's cook your own steak night out there. Salad. They used to do spaghetti and stuff. It was a really good deal, if I remember. I haven't been able to be there in so long.
Yeah, I've only done it
because
once.
I have work commitments that prohibit me from doing these things.
Right.
You know, sometimes, Bay Area traffic doesn't let you get back in time to get cleaned up and over to cook your own steak. And they got a taco night and all kind of stuff out there. It's not just a bar.
Yeah, they got a
they
nice
got a
backyard.
full restaurant. They got a nice back
Horseshoe
area.
pits.
It's
Yeah.
a neat facility. I understand somebody's trying to buy it and turn
Yeah,
it
to turn it into a
fucking
gas station. They already have one on
When
the
there's a gas
diagonal
station
corner.
across the street.
But I heard that they might move into the building that Early Dawn used to be in.
Well, that's Bel Piatto.
Yeah,
now.
the Italian
Is
restaurant.
it
Yeah, but I
Piatto?
mean,
How
there's
you-
never anybody there. I don't know how that place even stays open, man. Probably just a front for some mafioso.
Listen, since it hasn't
I didn't
been,
say that.
since it hasn't been the Early Dawn Cattleman, it never was Cattleman's, was it? Just the Early Dawn.
Yeah, as far as I
Steakhouse. I've been in there one time as it's been this Bel Piatto.
Yeah, I
or
went
whatever.
there once or twice.
So
The food's good, but they just don't have a crowd. But if they brought back a country themed bar to it, maybe it would do good.
I don't even know. We don't have a whole lot of decent steak places in Modesto, right? So why the Early Dawn wasn't at lunchtime? The Early Dawn was packed, bro.
Oh, yeah. And that was like the hot bar to be at when I was too young to go into bars. I missed
So
out
I
on
don't
that
know what-
experience.
I don't know what happened there, but as this Italian kitchen that it's kind of morphed into.
Well, it was a place called the Oak Pit for a while, too, which was kind of just like a down home. It kind of tried to have that, blue-collared vibe, but
I don't know.
that didn't last long.
But with the I've been there one time since it's been this Bel Piatto, and I hope I'm saying it right. I think that's what it is.
It's either Piatto or Piatta. You're close if you're not getting it
for-
right.
For a New California meeting where I schooled them about what writ of mandamus was, because like Jefferson, they didn't even know what that was. That was actually Angela Manini. I'm not talking to her anymore, but she was, quite active in the local scene, but politically, New California's like dead in this county. Jefferson's dead in this county.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, because they're not those movements are not based in reality or fact.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. When was the last time you seen anything? I follow both pages on Facebook. They're not putting out stuff like this, COVID numbers, and doing the rebuttal to the state like that. They don't have, I guess
It kind of seems like they've folded under a little bit.
I guess New California kind of has a daily show with Paul Preston does his daily Agenda 21 radio or whatever that psychopath has.
Yeah, but isn't it like 3 hours long? And
Yeah, and it's
Like-
only on the internet. You know, you have
Yeah.
the Red State Talk Radio thing. He's only on the
Yeah,
internet.
it's something weird like that.
I don't like that camera you got over there, whatever you got staring right at my damn
Yeah.
fat ass belly. You can't rotate that thing up or swing it back.
I could
or
try.
something.
I could try.
Focus it on Justin's
You
belly.
need to.
I don't know.
You need to get you a fisheye lens, and we'll point it right at his stomach. Take up the whole screen.
I think this means that I need to upgrade our board.
But
Get the board that we need.
regardless,
Be a lot better.
they did have decent food.
Yeah, I enjoyed the food when I ate there.
I was there one time, but you don't.
Yeah,
don't
I've
see
only
a
eaten
whole
there
lot of
once or
people in
twice.
there, and Paul Preston's radio shows are irrelevant. Jefferson really has a state of mind on Sundays, but really, you can't hear it unless you're up there or you're on the internet either.
Well, and their archive doesn't go back all that far either, so
Well,
it's difficult to
and-
go back and listen and reference any sort of past history show. Like, if you look at ForgottenLibertyRadio.com, every single one of our shows that we've ever publicly put out is there. They have show notes. A lot of them have a lot of extra metadata that I've spent time curating and putting out there. No other podcast has that.
There's, well, other podcasts,
Right.
have
No
that.
other podcast that talks about what we talk about has that type of history and
right, dude.
documentation.
Matthew even goes and puts link to the adrenochrome bullshit.
Yeah.
we were
Oh, does
talking
he?
about last
Yeah.
week, right?
Nice.
And
I'm gonna have to actually go look at the website.
The
I haven't
standard,
done
the
that.
standard that I follow is
Well,
a lot of
even-
the tag podcasts,
Right,
and
even-
they have detailed notes about every
Right,
single thing
right.
that they talk about. And I
Well,
think
they
a lot
like
of,
to share their sources. That
Right.
way you can background
Right.
check it.
Well, like, if we talk about this one random obscure thing, somebody's gonna be like, "Wait, but I want to know about that,"
right.
and then I'm gonna put the link in there. So I have a whole
Yeah, like when we were
note
talking
right here.
conspiracy
Well,
theories last time.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
did that.
You probably put some Mandela effect in there.
Yeah, I did.
that
I did.
There's a tons of
I
YouTube
did.
videos on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, you could spend hours just watching YouTube videos.
Well, he
on
didn't
that
go
kind
on
of-
and put YouTube links.
No,
No,
but
no,
at
no.
least people can look that up if they want.
Right, right. Well, like I put a Wikipedia link in there, and then you could just start going down the
Yeah,
rabbit hole
exactly.
down the.
Do
So-
your own discovery.
Yeah, but none of these other shows that talk politics has quote their sources or anything at all. It's very, very difficult to find. I do think Louder Than Crowder.
Yeah, I like
Louder with
Crowder.
Crowder.
Do you ever watch Tim Pool?
I don't
I like him. He's
Louder Than Crowder.
Dude, there. And I gotta get.
John's
I gotta
louder
break
than
down-
Crowder.
I gotta
oh, way
break down-
louder
I
and
gotta break
angrier.
down.
Yes.
You know what? I have a very close friend that
I like
that-
Steven Crowder though.
Look.
He's funny.
Okay. In full transparency, there's a handful of truckers that we all using Bluetooth, but we all got Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. Like, we're all conference calling each other. Like, and we're on it for hours at a time talking, you know. But
You don't use CB?
no, we're talking nationwide.
Oh, okay, okay.
So when I actually call these guys, they answer the phone
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "What's up, Angry?" No, in that circle, I'm known as Angry John.
Right.
And why? Because most of what we talk about is me bitching about local government.
Right.
Yeah.
Is okay. So if you people tune into this show or the Ceres City Council, this is not an act. I can be as calm as it gets, and at the drop of a hat, get totally pissed off about something. People view that passion as anger. Last week's show with Mark Whitehead, that's anger. But what you see when I get loud and boisterous with politic is passion.
Right.
And I
They can be easily confused
hope
sometimes.
everyone can see the difference between "fool, you don't know what you're talking about" in an angry manner,
Mm-hmm.
or if this was 100 years ago, we'd be dueling. Those were serious things that I said. That's absolutely anger.
Right.
And the passion when I'm talking to like the Ceres City Council. And Jeff Benzinger, you need to get your shit together, because if you can't make your own recording We've already gone back on YouTube when the Ceres City Council meetings have been released and proven that you misquote me. I'm not angry about you misquoting me because we know that you're not intelligent enough to rewind the video. You've made that mistake even after the YouTube video's been posted of the Ceres City Council meeting, so I'm beyond getting pissed off with your stupid ass. But quote me right, okay? When I call into the Ceres City Council meeting and you say an irate truck driver because I also drive truck, I've already given the city council before in meetings that you've even reported about that I'm a voter, a resident, a homeowner, a business owner. Most people will know I'm host of this podcast. I'm a board member of Central Valley Taxpayers Association. I'm a co-founder of Americans Restoring Representation. There are so many things you could refer to me as. None lends more credence to my argument than I am a resident of Ceres.
Right.
When you say an irate truck driver,
Yeah, that sounds
You're
like it could be
painting-
any random Yahoo calling in from the highway or something.
well, he absolutely paints me in a derogatory manner.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And that's intended to paint a picture to the public that this guy's just a blue-collar nobody.
That might not even belong in Ceres.
I own the corporation that owns the truck, and I operate that vehicle as an employee of that corporation.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not discount me from being a resident with an absolutely legitimate view of nepotism and conflict of interest that are happening in our city council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the words that I use or whether I say they're a mobbed up council or not. You drop the ED from mobbed up council and say I said mob up ass. To again, make me look less intelligent than I am.
Right.
I clearly holler at them, this is a mobbed up ass council and it needs to stop. We are not going to be tyrannized by public employees. I sent you a picture of the article, didn't I?
You did.
Goddamn Ceres Courier. Turlock Journal.
What's the article name?
Deadlocked again or some bullshit. What's the first one? Scroll back up. Council members.
10 appointed to beautification committee.
Okay, well,
I don't
that's
think
old.
That's, yeah.
That's old.
I don't. It may be a print only thing.
Nah, it's not.
No.
Well, I mean,
I'm back in 2017 now. And
yeah,
then
well,
when we scroll
because
through,
their
like, 5
website freaking sucks.
Yeah, no, it does.
It doesn't matter.
Here we go. Here. Special election likely as council deadlock. And guess what? Subscribe to keep reading.
Mute my mic for a second and mute Justin's. I'll give you the login.
All right.
So sorry about the silence. I was giving out internet passwords and such. Not everybody, I'm not going to give everybody access to my Ceres Courier account, but because this is my account and I pay for it, well, my show can have the goddamn access. Hope everybody's in agreement with that.
Seems reasonable to me.
Do you disagree that this is my legitimate use of that subscription?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's public information anyway, right?
But they all want you to pay to read
To
the
view
damn
it.
article.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Well, that's because they can't sell paper prescriptions and subscriptions
No,
anymore.
I pay for online and paper access.
Oh, you get the hard copy too, huh?
Yeah.
Here's the
do.
quote right here. An irate Ceres resident and truck driver, John Osgood, phoned into the meeting with an obscenity-laced tirade attacking Rhino and Silvera by reference as holding up the process. This is a mob up a council, and yes, that word is precise, yelled Osgood. We have a public employee and a public retired employee holding us hostage, tyrannizing our city because they feel another public employee An entrenched government agent should be our city council person. It's a misquote.
It is a misquote because I said mobbed up. Who in their right mind would say mob up? Even my brother's ex-wife, when she read the article, tells me, you're not that stupid. Anybody that knows you can read this and know you're not that stupid. That didn't come out of your mouth like that.
Right.
Here's the problem.
It's still not up on their, like, the
No,
council meeting is still not up.
it's not. It usually takes them a whole week to get it put up.
Do they stream it live on YouTube?
No, it's not streamed live.
Okay.
No.
So no one knows what happens at it for a week. Unless they're
up
on the
to a
Zoom
week.
call.
Yeah,
Get
so
on-
Turlock has always streamed live
Get on-
to YouTube. And
Get on the Zoom calls, dude. Because seriously, here's what's happening.
Where do you find the link through the city?
right on the
website?
right on the agenda.
Okay.
Right on the agenda.
That's on the website?
Yeah,
On the city's website?
ci.ceres.ca.gov, I think it is.
if you're listening, I'll throw it in the show notes.
Then you go to meetings and agendas. Click on that. Each agenda will have the Zoom link.
Okay.
Here's the situation. We had 4 applicants for the vacated Chance Condit seat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. City council interviews all 4 applicants in chamber. Okay. And in past city council meetings, you'll hear me argue that why did you interview them in chamber? You won't let us as the public come into chamber. Why were they allowed to remove their masks in the building with multiple people in that room, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a mask policy.
Right.
I sat down and met with city manager Tom Westbrook in the same building's conference room, and we had to remain masked the whole time because his employees are required to wear a mask. And we didn't want to – I didn't wear a mask. I wear a face shield in government buildings. And the only place I've done that, worn any kind of face covering, has been a clear shield, and it's been in my dentist's office, okay? And I take that off as soon as I'm back in the chair.
Well, you kind of have to in the dentist's office.
Right.
That's funny. I just went to the dentist Thursday.
You were there on Thursday? I was
Yeah.
there on Wednesday. We got the same dentist.
Oh, you went there now?
Yeah.
Was that because of I told you I was going there?
I was going there before.
Oh, you already were?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's funny. We
So-
just coincidentally had the same dentist.
Yeah, we've had this. You forgot about it. That was
Well, we talked about it, but I didn't know that if you actually were their patient or not.
Oh yeah. So and I've worn this checking in at East Bay Mud because nobody can understand that there's an under 0.2% death rate from this thing. But this council allowed that to happen in chambers, regardless. One of these individuals is Mrs. Lori Smith. Mrs. Lori Smith is considered by Mrs. Linda Rhino and Deputy Brett Silvera to be the supremely qualified candidate out of the 4 because of her involvement in the Ceres Planning Commission
Mm-hmm.
and her employment with the city of Modesto as a city employee. That she'll hit the ground running and know how to engage in the business of the city and is the supremely qualified candidate because of that.
That just sounds like more bureaucracy to me.
Well, here's my thing about
Somebody
nepotism.
that's been groomed up in the system.
Here's my thing about nepotism. We've had it pulled up on this show. Matthew's read the definition of nepotism.
Yep.
Giving your family, your friends, your acquaintances a leg up. And
Right. Favoritism,
empower.
basically.
That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
And when Linda Rhino is a retired employee, City of Ceres employee, her husband's a retired City of Ceres employee.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Silvera is a currently sheriff's deputy in Stanislaus County.
Right.
Miss Lori Smith is pull up who is the director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods in the city of Modesto. I'll tell you before Matthew gets it up, it's Lori Smith. No, city of Modesto.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the qualifications that they're using is she's a public employee and she's a planning commissioner member. She's actually the chairperson of the Ceres Planning Commission,
Mm-hmm.
who currently they're allowing multi-resident complexes. They're approving the building of these things as the Citizen Advisory Committee. Now, if you go to the, let's just address the Ceres issues that qualify her. That Planning Commission. She's been on the Ceres Planning Commission for 14 years. In those 14 years, we've had development agreed to by our Citizen Advisory Committee at the peril of our police department, at the peril of our fire department, at the peril of our parks, at the peril of our school, at the peril of our sewer system.
Mm-hmm.
We're partnered with Turlock on sewer because our sewer infrastructure can't handle it. Our sewer infrastructure
That's sad.
is inadequate to provide for Ceres.
Right.
In those 14 years, we've annexed parts of the county behind the old Kmart,
Mm-hmm.
where the now formerly Rayleigh's, formerly Rancho San Miguel, that shopping center.
Okay.
Originally, Ceres was everything south of Hatch Road.
Okay. So now they're pushing it all the way to the river. Or
Yeah.
trying to.
Well, it's
starting
already
to.
there, dude.
Right, right,
South of Hatch Road and east of Richland Avenue.
right.
Now that entire area is the city of Ceres. This planning commission has done these things
Right.
because we have to grow the city to keep increasing revenue, right?
Right.
No, we don't. Our residents have approved Measure H to fund those shortfalls in police and fire as a sales tax. But this woman that's supposed to be supremely qualified has, as a planning commissioner the last 14 years, approved or been part of the approval process that's put us in the predicament we're in. That absolutely, as talked about in previous shows, has changed the buying power that you have as a resident of Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I know the answer. Is Justin Quigley a homeowner in Ceres? Do you own your own home?
No.
Why do you not own your own home? You work a full-time job in the county, right?
I sure do.
You're not a slave, right? You're paid a decent wage to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
A full-time job. Are you able to afford a home in the community you grew up in?
Not at the current moment, no.
Next year, will you be able to afford a home?
Not that soon. I'm working on it.
No, but you have to
in
strive
several
until
years
you're,
I'll be able to. Yeah,
you're
but it's
going
going
to
take a lot of hard
until
work.
you're 50 years old before you even be able to purchase a home at the home prices in your community.
Right.
Why? Because people like Lori Smith sit on a planning commission and allow building and things to happen. Building to happen that men like you working a full-time job, even if they raise the minimum wage, won't ever be able to afford in the town you grew up in. This woman is considered supremely qualified to be your city council person for District 1. She's f***ed us all.
Mm-hmm.
And who the public employees want? Another public employee.
Right.
Do you have that up? Director of Parks and Recreation and Neighborhoods in Modesto?
I do.
Can you show that to our listeners?
I can. Right here. Same screenshot you put up earlier.
Son of a bitch, it's Lori Smith.
Yep.
Okay.
Nepotism at its finest.
Yep.
Well, I'm even getting away from that. Okay, so we know there's nepotism. Mm-hmm. We know that she hasn't been a positive for Ceres. Even with the annexation and with the allowances the Planning Commission has allowed. Mm-hmm. Now, make no mistake, Brett Silvera served for like 4 months on the Planning Commission, too. So you have that nepotism on top of the public employee nepotism.
That's like their little test run or their trial before they pull them into the council.
You think?
Unless they don't like you on the Planning Commission like they didn't like Cooper. And they tried to keep him out.
Like they still don't like Cooper.
But they couldn't stop him from getting elected.
Why? Because he's running
people
on
like
the Condit
Cooper.
name.
Well, and people like Cooper.
And the Condit boys are righteous men.
Right.
Who listen to guys like me saying, This generational divide we have in Ceres, this nepotistic behavior that we have going on needs to stop. And Angela DeRossett, when I tell you it's nepotism and you disagree, and I tell you, you as a teacher teaching our children have a reading comprehension problem, and there's no wonder why our students don't function properly, and why there's so many arguments on Facebook and this and that. It's because teachers like you are teaching our students to be deficient out of the gate. Mm-hmm. Because you don't comprehend what you read. I put a post on Facebook about this nepotism and about Mrs. Smith not being able to handle her 9-to-5 duties. And my evidence to her lack of ability to handle her 9-to-5 duties was then hijacked into me attacking Mrs. Smith for a homelessness issue. Mm-hmm. If y'all don't follow me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. You can see that. Maybe Matthew can put a link to that post up as well. I don't care. Matthew knows how to get to my Facebook.
Yeah, I'll throw a link.
It's all public. It's all public. So it's there. It's there for everybody to see. Anyways, my Facebook's not locked down. You can see all my pictures, all my posts, all my rant and raves. Whatever. What are they gonna do? I got a credit freeze because I was freaking. Identity theft at 5 years old from a illegal immigrant using my social security number.
Really?
Yeah, bud.
Wow.
And you know it costs the public money to freeze and thaw their credit rate if they want it done. Not me. I can freeze or thaw for free. Why? Because I'm a victim of identity theft, bro. From way back.
That's crazy.
Way back. I want to buy a car. It cost me extra work because some illegal alien came across the border over here. And used my I was 5 years old. Wow. Getting letters from Social Security. Someone's using your stuff.
Wow, that's insane.
That's crazy.
1981. My parents are having to freaking go to court because some Mexican come from Mexico, used my Social Security number, pick Brussels sprouts and Salinas. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's picking Brussels sprouts and Salinas.
Yeah, it might have been peaches in Houston. Who knows?
Right, but whatever. Came here to better themselves, and at the same time violated me.
Yeah, it's not
right. However, so all this. Oh, my Facebook's locked down for security. Security's an illusion.
Yeah.
Your Facebook is locked down so that you can hide who you actually are. But who Lori Smith actually is the director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood in Modesto. That's her 9-to-5 job.
So will she get to keep that if she's...
Yes, because it's her public employment.
So she'll have a foothold in Modesto and Ceres.
She already has a foothold in Modesto and Ceres.
Well, right, but she's trying to make it stronger.
This is my point. Our city council...
She's trying to climb the ladder to something bigger then if she's doing all that.
If you as an individual are not happy with the way government is, stop voting government agents and government employees into your councils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because once they get into that system for so long, all they know is suckling at the teat. And they just continue those practices.
Everybody automatically assumes that he's a sheriff's deputy, so he's supremely qualified to be a council person.
Right.
They believe that you have to have these commission, Measure H, these ad hoc committee positions to be qualified to be in government. Right. It's self-governance. They believe you need to be a city employee, a police officer, a firefighter, a commission member.
Right. They want you to already be part of the system.
You're pissed off at the system, and you're putting your representative in who is part of the system you're angry with.
Right.
It's never going to change if you don't change. You can't vote status quo and expect to change status quo.
Right.
I don't know why people don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense.
And then when a common person runs for office, they scoff at you and like, oh, you're underqualified and you have no experience.
The three other candidates, private business owners are told by the retired and current public employees, you're not qualified.
Right.
Lori Smith is overqualified more than you because she is in government. Is that behavior not what I said to the city council? Not what reported by Jeff Benzinger as public employees tyrannizing us?
Mm-hmm.
They're telling us we're not even qualified to serve the goddamn council.
Right.
And let's break it down. The qualifications for city council member are be a resident of the city, of that district, of voting age, and be a registered voter. Right? You have to be 18 years of age, living in a home within the boundaries of that district, and be registered to vote.
Right.
Not be 50-some, 60 years old, a planning commission member, and in a neighboring city, director of parks, recreation, and neighborhoods.
Right.
Her 9 to 5 and her 5 to 9 as planning commission member, which neither one of them is she doing adequately or sufficiently. Referenced by my 14 years she's set on that committee and the things that her committee has done detrimental to the life and financial viability of the city of Ceres. In the last 14 years, Ceres has lost Amazon and all the other industrial growth that Patterson has got, or other San Joaquin County cities have got.
Right.
We have land out here that those individuals would have sold to those corporations.
Yep.
And we could have had the Amazon Fulfillment Center. We don't, because that planning commission, because businesses know and have learned from experience that people like Lori Smith aren't going to allow them into our town. They're going to allow the housing.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to bring the jobs with it. So in that manner, Lori Smith is not qualified. And then you get to, I attend at Grisada Park behind Mancini Bowl at a City of Modesto Parks. Who's ultimately responsible for the City of Modesto Parks?
Lori Smith.
As the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods.
Right.
A gender reveal party for my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
This has been in the last 12 months. She was the Director of Parks at that time, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to use the restroom at one of the most popular parks in Modesto. Would you not agree?
Yeah, it's probably locked, wouldn't it?
No. There's no doors. There's no locks. There's no partitions between the stalls.
And there's been no maintenance in it probably for months.
The maintenance is take out whatever's destroyed, not repair to replace.
Right.
Right? Not one time was there a police patrol around the park. If your kids are listening, your kids need to vacate the room immediately. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I enter the restroom, and there's bareback butt fucking happening from the homeless people. Now, not that many bees in the boys' bathroom. And I say this to ingrain the sexual activity that the homeless are performing in the boys' bathroom at the park. There's another gentleman passed out with a heroin needle in his arm up against the sinks. And I have to circumnavigate this, quite frankly, repugnant, nasty, and uncouth behavior to get to the urinal that doesn't even have a simple splash guard on it.
Yeah, that's
so if one wanted the pee-pee
nasty.
watch while sexual activity and illicit drug use are happening in the men's restroom, they can.
Wow.
And this is within 10 yards of the playground where the children are playing at this park. Whose park? Whose park?
Wow. Thank God I don't go there.
Lori Smith's park, where they're barefoot, bareback, butt fucking in the boys' bathroom.
That's a hell of an alliteration you just threw down there.
And all B's.
Yeah. Well, that's what alliteration is.
Well, Bob is banging heroin into his armpit.
I thought you were going to go for some more. You got a couple of them. John's writing tongue twisters today for all you people.
The fact that a Ceres high school teacher would say homelessness is not her problem. She didn't make homelessness. Well, I disagree.
But we still got to deal with it.
No, I disagree.
She made some homelessness.
As a planning commissioner, she absolutely offset at least one individual in the city of Ceres.
Right.
So she's a contributor to homelessness.
Yes, she might not have invented it, but she certainly helped produce it.
She may not have willingly or knowingly done it, but she's absolutely contributed. She's absolutely continuing to contribute to the financial and economic destruction of Ceres on that planning commission, because they've just approved 2 multiplexes in city of Ceres and what I lost the word when they absorb an area. Annexed areas of Ceres. That in the February 16th, 2021 meeting of the Ceres Planning Commission, there was discussions about how it would affect the parking in the neighborhoods, whether it's the zoning density allows for it, whether the elevations, which are the architectural drawings, look acceptable to the committee, but never once that we're taxing a sewer system or a public safety system to an additional degree than what we're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
All these things combined prove she's not able to handle her 9 to 5 or her 5 to 9. Because if Lori Smith wanted to curtail the behavior that I witnessed, the barefoot butt in the boys' bathroom at Griseda Park, she could call chief of police and insist that he patrol the park more often.
Right.
That there be a foot patrol that get out of the car every half hour or every hour and walk into the restrooms and make sure they're not in a repugnant manner. I can't call the police department except for when it's happening. And then what do I get told? I get told we're understaffed and we can't get there. We'll have somebody out there as soon as we can.
Right.
Well, now we've already busted our nut and we're done.
Right.
And if the chief of police in the city of Modesto can't provide Mrs. Smith that patrol for her parks, then she can approach the council and the mayor to have them pressure the chief to do it. She hasn't done that, or her parks would be clean.
Right.
It seems like an issue in a lot of Modesto. I don't spend a ton of time up there, but yeah.
Right, but Griseda is
we are running at one time.
Griseda is like the main central park in Modesto,
right,
too. Like he was saying, I mean, geographically and just its usage for all the different events that Modesto holds.
I've taken Modesto Stanislaus News and Incident Feed. I hate to keep going here, but it's relevant to our area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Admin, delete if not allowed. Hey, Modesto, I was wondering, are there any parks open? Blah, 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 blah. This girl says, Matilda, thanks for answering me so quickly. Stay away from Cesar Chavez Park. That is the filthiest. That is filthy and open to homeless, including people living out of their cars. Looks like the city police gave up on it. I said, in reply to her, say it's not so. Lori Smith is your Modesto Director, Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood. She is a Ceres Planning Commissioner and has applied for appointment to the Ceres City Council. Are you telling us her parks are overrun and unsafe for families to recreate in their neighborhoods? So what did I do there? I tied my comment in Facebook into every aspect of her directorship. The woman, Matilda, says, drive by there. I live right down the street. I have pictures I can post as well, too. I've called 1 million times, but doesn't help. I'm done.
Wow.
And here we get back to what I said.
Mm-hmm.
You are electing people into or appointing people into government that are the problem in government.
Right.
Ceres has a special meeting March 4th. Because if they don't make an appointment by March 5th, it automatically goes to special election. A special election for the election of the representative of the people to government. That Linda Rhino and Brett Silvera will both tell you and have both voted against adding in their healthcare stipend. Okay? Their healthcare stipend. Hear me out. As a deputy, he has healthcare. And as a retired city employee and the spouse of another retired city employee, she has health care. So why are they both unwilling to put their health care and $500 a month council stipend in to fund the special election is beyond me. It's because they're entitled to your money and they're entitled to that zero deductible because they have multiple health care insurance, and that's what they're telling you.
Right.
We are above you and you are beneath us. The subordinates are being insubordinate. But the only responsibility of our city, above sewer, above water, above fire, above police, above parks, above streets, is to provide for our adequate representation.
Right.
And they're refusing to fund your adequate representation.
Right.
And your John Warrens and your Lee Brandts and your Brandy Myers and all the people that call in that have been part of that planning commission or part of that city government that are always at the meetings, that always call in, where you don't hear the Justin Quigleys and you don't hear from the people that aren't irate and passionate like the Osgood, the truck driver. They're discounted because he's irate and he's passionate. They steer our government to continue to behave like this.
Mm-hmm.
When I sit here and I calmly say, Justin, you need to call in. You got to help me out with this. You got to call in and you got to help me out. And everyone else has to call into their cities and they got to help me out. You got to help me, help you, help yourself. Or what? It'll be another 15 years before you can afford to even put a down payment on a home in your neighborhood.
Right.
And why? Because of people like Lori Smith. And this is after I put up a post on my own page. I told this Matilda, I don't need to. I've seen the disgusting acts taking place in the bathroom at Crescenta Park. The facts are alarming. Even Willie Brown, while mayor of San Francisco, kept pressure on the homeless and recreational drug users to keep his city and county tourist and public friendly.
Right.
Willie Brown, you know Kamala Harris's boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
The black man, Willie Brown, former Speaker of the Assembly? The black man, Willie Brown, told the police officers, you keep them homeless moving, and you keep them drug addicts moving. You don't let them stagnate on our streets. You don't let them do drugs in our park. You don't let them live in Golden Gate Park. You keep them moving or it will reduce the economic and financial stability of this city.
Mm-hmm.
Of all people in California, he has never been called racist, mean, any of the sort. He's actually considered even a better mayor of San Francisco than even Gavin Newsom.
Right.
And he kept the pressure on the homeless. But this bitch, Lori Smith, can't even ask the police department to do multiple patrols. Poor Matilda is a resident of Modesto. Can't get the director of parks to clean her parks. Willie Brown kept them clean. Because he kept the pressure on.
Right.
So what do we have? We have a laziness problem in government.
Right.
San Francisco didn't have, under the militant leadership of Willie Brown. That's not going to happen in my city. Lori Smith don't give a shit what happens in your city. Your deputy Brett Silvera don't, Linda Rhino don't in Ceres. And if we don't put the pressure on them, they're going to keep putting the pressure on us.
Right.
Can you pull up my Facebook post about this?
Yeah, 1 second.
I know Justin's off Facebook, so you probably didn't see it because you quit Facebook again.
Yeah. I can only handle so much social media.
Look at that car all rolled over in the corner.
Yeah.
If you could see behind my picture, the bottom of the body's curled up under there, dragging that thing. I'm pushing it so hard.
Nice.
Right there.
See that body all wrinkled up? That's because it hits the track, not because it hits somebody else. I guess. You're reading it. I can't see it.
Who's the director of Modesto? The city of Modesto is directors of parks, recreation, and neighborhoods. I'll wait. But while I do, the homeless are shooting drugs and having sex in the park restrooms during daylight hours behind the Mancini Bowl. That's right. The person your Ceres City Council District 2 and 3 representatives feel is most qualified to be your District 1 representative is the head of Parks and Recreation in Modesto.
Wow. Yeah, and the parks in Modesto all around don't have a good reputation.
Jeff Benzinger. Jeff Benzinger. I'm a truck driver, and I gave the public more information about Lori Smith than you did.
Oh, I'm sure.
I wasn't even
You're an irate truck driver.
But I wasn't even doing investigative journalism when I discovered that she can't do her job.
No, all you have to do is step a foot into a park and you'll figure that out.
Now, from what Matthew read, would you comprehend that to mean I'm blaming Lori Smith for homelessness?
Not directly. Maybe through failed policy or
Matthew,
bad practices.
Yeah.
In your reading of that, am I accusing Lori Smith of the homelessness issue?
Not directly, no. I mean,
am I indirectly accusing her of homelessness?
No, you're accusing
say?
her of not taking the necessary steps to prevent things from happening in parks that the homeless are causing. Not she's the cause of homelessness.
What does it say is happening in the bathroom?
Shooting up drugs and having sex in the restrooms.
Who's shooting up drugs?
Homelessness. Or homelessness. Homeless.
What? Read that line again, please.
I'll wait, but while I do, the homeless are shooting drugs and having sex in the park restrooms during daylight hours behind the Mancini Bowl.
Does it say?
It doesn't say that it's her fault.
It says who's conducting an activity.
Homeless.
Yeah, really, all you're doing is giving her a status update on the park.
Wait.
This is the current situation.
Wait. Because I've been told in the thread. Okay? And your name's up there, Angela, so I'm not disparaging you. I'm not downgrading anything. I'm not misrepresenting. Angela DeRosset, wife of former councilman Brett DeRosset, and Ceres High School teacher of many years, then goes on to say, Lori Smith is not responsible for homelessness. Makes the accusation in her comments that I'm blaming Lori Smith for the whom is engaged in the behavior happening at Lori Smith's facility. Mrs. DeRossett, there is nothing to agree to disagree upon. You have a reading comprehension problem. And you're teaching our students in our public high school remedial lessons. If you can't comprehend what you read, Mr. Rossett, there's nothing to agree to or disagree to except for the validity of your education and your ability to instruct students. You made a fatal mistake, Angela, in not going back and rereading what you read.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
The whom engaged in the illegal or illicit activity is not the subject matter of the post. And your lack of comprehension is glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
A public
I'd say.
employee,
Very much so.
a public employee telling me another public employee is not responsible for homelessness. Through comments, my Facebook is wide open. Everyone can go see it. I would ask you to go see it. John R. Osgood III on Facebook. JOHN space R period OSGOOD III on Facebook. Go check it out. It's wide open.
We'll have a link to the post in the show notes.
I'm not hiding
it.
anything. While the executive and legislative may make laws that say she can't prohibit the homeless from being in her park, she can absolutely protect the public from the homeless activity that is illicit or illegal in her park.
Right.
And that's the point of the post.
Yeah, just because they're there and allowed to be there doesn't mean they can do whatever they want while they're there.
Our high school
They're
teacher...
still subject to the same laws everyone else that's in the park and using the park should be.
Our high school teacher that doesn't comprehend what she read is a pro Lori Smith council position person who will agree to disagree with me on nepotism and the fact that Lori's not qualified because of Lori's actions.
Right.
While you're not for nepotism, you are for nepotism. While you can't understand how to comprehend what you read, you are teaching students how to comprehend what they read. And I appreciate her agreeing with me on 90% of things. And I appreciate her insistence that I need to be a planning commission member, that I need to be engaged somehow in government because I get it. I appreciate those things about Angela. And I like her and I enjoy our conversations. But you have fault too. I'm not perfect. I have fault. I let my listeners know when I fuck up. But stop arguing with me when you're fucked up.
I think what her problem was is she added context of her own that wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Her comprehension was out of context of what the context of my thing was. And as an educator, you should know how to comprehend.
She could understand the point that you were making without jumping to you having put accusations on somebody. Because like you said, all you were doing was giving like a current status update of what's going on in the park. You weren't saying she's the cause of it. But maybe your inactions are letting it continue.
But whose responsibility is it to maintain the park in a safe and
hers
and recreative?
That's her job, isn't it?
She is the direct director of parks and Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods in the
So
city of
that
Modesto.
should be her responsibility.
So the only one higher on the food chain to keep your park clean and safe is, on a day-to-day basis, is your mayor.
Right.
Or your city council. Through the assistance of your police department. Now, if she can't keep the parks in an adequate and safe and working manner, then she needs to elicit the help of the higher-ups on the chain, because the director of public safety or the police chief is her equal in the scope of things.
Right.
If she can't cross-platform to the chief to get more patrols on the park or prevent that from happening in the park, this is Grisada Park, downtown Modesto. You know, it's one of the most popular parks in town.
Right.
If you can't have more frequent patrols there, or you can't request those, there's a problem.
Well, why do you think all the parks down by the river are so bad? Like you said, they can't even maintain one that's, 2 miles from the police station?
As the director of Parks and Recreation in the city of Modesto, she's influential on the Tuolumne River Regional Park Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Beardbrook Park. Where were all the homeless? They were in Beardbrook.
All of those parks. Moose Park.
Well, right.
Beardbrook.
Loma, all that
Loma,
stuff.
Yeah.
But they moved them from Beardbrook, where they were creating a health and human services catastrophe.
Is that where they had all
Health
the
and
tents
safety
down there
code,
under the overpass?
And then they moved them under the
bridge?
overpass. Right.
Oh, okay. The Beard was the first one, right?
Lori Smith absolutely was involved in a government level on that fiasco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was all kinds of bad.
And then you're going to tell me she's not responsible for homelessness. She's engaged in the fucking epidemic. But I didn't even bring that into consideration when we talked about what I posted on Facebook and the lack of reading comprehension.
Right.
So when you say she's not even responsible for homeless, she absolutely is, because she put herself in the middle of it.
Right.
She accepted responsibility when they allowed people to move into their parks. Willie Brown kept them moving. And under his direction, San Francisco was a much nicer place than it was today.
Oh, yeah.
But they're going to put this broad on Ceres City Council if Cooper or Javier Lopez cave.
Well, let's hope they don't.
I will start an immediate recall campaign against Lori Smith. I'd like to see her resign from the Planning Commission. You think that the way I talk or the things I talk about gives me any chance of having a majority vote from the council to be seated on a planning commission or any type of local committee like that?
No, you're too critical of them.
Am I too critical of them, or am I insistent that they behave adequately?
Well, let me restate. You're the right amount of critical of them, but they will view that as too critical of them. The fact that you are critical means you're too critical. Not from my perspective, from people that are already in those positions.
People are viewing.
I'm being the devil's advocate on their behalf at this point. Yeah,
but you know.
No,
what
I
I'm
agree
saying.
with what
you
you're
know
saying.
I'm saying.
Well, that was the point you were alluding to. They'd fight it tooth and nail to keep you out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. I have no doubt about that.
Absolutely. So at that point, is my involvement in government more important than my education of everyone else about why it is the way it is?
I'd say they're equally important.
Yeah.
It's like a dual-faceted effort you're making.
This needs to be in government because...
Oh, definitely. We've killed debate. You know what I mean? It's like everybody just shut up and listen, or, move away and go where people agree with you. So going back to the council thing you were saying earlier, though, so this next meeting coming up is the last one that they have a chance to appoint someone. Otherwise, it has to be elected, right?
It has to go to special election.
So this is actually a very important meeting for people. If you do want to get on them Zoom calls and actually make a difference, this would be the meeting to get in and pressure them to not make this decision. But even if it ends up being Lori Smith, it should be by election, not by appointment.
And if the people of District 1 elect her,
it's foolish, but at least it's at least elected by the district, not appointed by the sitting council members.
It's the constituents' choice.
Right. It would be a bad choice, but at least it would have been their choice and not just the sitting council members.
It would be a very unwise choice. I would opine against that being your choice.
Right.
I would educate you as a District 1 representative why it's a bad choice. I would not insist that you make a different choice. Rather give you all the information at my disposal to help you make the most informed choice.
Right.
I don't know from Shinola about the other three candidates, really, except for they're private people.
Right.
And they're not considered qualified by our public employees who sit on the council because they are private people.
But see, a person like you or me, that's going to get us more interested in them. Now I do want to know what they're about. Who are they? What do they do? Like, what are their jobs? What are their opinions?
I've 100% disclosed I did not vote for Javier Lopez for mayor of Ceres.
But you've been supportive of him, actually, since he's been in the position, I think.
For a guy who didn't know anything about government coming in, he's been doing a wonderful job as the presiding officer of the city of Ceres.
You've, in my opinion, kind of taken a 180 on your stance with him, because you were against him at first, but I feel like you've been giving him kudos for where he's been doing good.
Look, why was I critical of Javier Lopez?
Because of his
Matthew
campaign.
Will tell you because of he did not say publicly to the Hispanic girls, this is not about race.
Right.
He did run on that, 70% or whatever of the city is Hispanic and I'm after the Hispanic vote. He ran off that.
Right.
Now is that while it's disrespectful to the rest of us, and I called him on that at the time, you can go back and listen to the show.
Right.
I was calling him on how he was doing something. And the lack of things that were allowing that racial connotation in that election to transpire, of him not engaging locally but engaging in San Joaquin County.
Right.
If Brett DeRosset was not talking locally and was talking to people in Merced County on their local media, I would have called him on that too. If Brett DeRosset was wearing Ceres High football gear and in his they're not televised, but we could see in his recorded interviews, I would have called Brett DeRosset on using the city high school football team as well.
Right.
I wasn't critical of Javier because he hadn't been in government.
No, not at all. No, I never heard you attack him as a person. You just didn't agree with his campaign tactics.
Yeah.
And I've said 100%. Look, I wanted to run for District 4. I didn't have a snowball's chance in hell. So I saved my money.
Yep.
Right? The incumbent didn't even have a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah, Cooper kicked his ass, man.
Yeah.
But you knew that was going to happen.
Well, I knew if anybody could, it'd be Cooper. That's why I didn't throw my hat in it either.
It could have been the other Gary Condit, this current generation Gary Condit.
Right.
It could have been any one of Burl's grandsons or Hoppy's kids. It could have, any Condit could have took that seat, bro.
Yeah.
Not that Cooper's not doing an adequate job. Cooper and Javier absolutely have the best interest of their district and Ceres at heart. And the Ceres Courier and the older generation of Ceres are mistaken when they say Rhino and Silvera have the city's interest at heart.
No, they're self-interested.
Exactly. And my public comment that Benzinger doesn't even say anything about public comment was about the COVID numbers and how we opened safely.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the nepotism and the conflict of interest.
Right.
There was no yelling. There was no irate. There was no cussing. And I saved part of my tirade that Jeff Benzinger doesn't report on is I've been saying from day one there needs to be a special election.
Right.
And this round and round we keep doing in these put it off till the next council meeting as an agenda item and put it off as the next agenda item proves this is a mobbed up ass council.
Right.
It proves the nepotism that I said in the beginning in my public comment. Who's the one that made the motion to put off the city staff coming to them with a plan to open safely at their meeting a month away? It was Brett Silvera. Brett Silvera doesn't want your meetings open. It's been my calls that that as a sheriff's deputy, he is responsible. At the very meeting he pushed it off a month. I said, as a sheriff's deputy, you are duty bound to uphold the health and safety code of the state of California equally to what you would the penal code or the vehicle code.
Right.
And if you don't, it's a felonious violation of our principles. The health and safety code requires you guys to reassess this local emergency every 30 days. What did he do? He said, F you, John, I'm putting it off 30 days. And it was seconded. And all four of them agreed, so they can agree. And I don't have anything I can say about him putting it off 30 days, do I?
Mm-mm.
Because I'm asking him to comply with state law, and I'm calling him out personally. And what did he do? He recognized that I was 100% accurate, and he pushed it off 30 days. Thank you, Mr. Silvera, for doing the right thing. While I want the meeting open 14 days later, he did his job, and he did it correctly. And I can't say anything other than that was a you to John.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make me do my job, and I'm going to make you wait the entire time. Because he didn't ask for the meetings to be reopened. He asked for a plan.
Right.
Or the allowance to reevaluate 30 days later, and that's exactly what I was asking for. So how can I be mad about that? So when people think I'm critical, he 100% satisfied me that day.
Right.
And I can't bitch, moan, or complain except for we're not open. I want them open. And every week, every meeting since, I've said that, and I've given more information. And I said, with the information I've given you, the only safe way to open is to open with no restrictions. While I still get to do that in public comment, he still gets to come back this next time and say, well, I'd like to table this for 30 days and reevaluate then.
Right.
He and I can continue to do this. Because you know what it does? It continues the process in a manner in which the legislature intended.
Right.
His job is to continue it every 30 days if he doesn't feel safe opening the building. Sooner or later, the other members will say, open the building.
Right.
Sooner or later, Justin will get on the phone too and say, open the building. Already that generation that's in disagreement with me about who should be council person is already saying, I agree, there are safe ways to reopen our building. The pressure that I'm applying is having a positive effect. It's causing our system and our citizenry to see things the way they're intended to be seen.
Right.
The decisions to be made the way they're intended to be made. And the most important thing you can take from the episodes the past month and a half is you have to be engaged. Regardless of the comprehension issues that I challenge people on.
Mm-hmm.
Or the very vocal picture I paint for you with my sentences full of B's, or the anger that I use in defense of myself with members of the community like Mark Whitehead. Everything I'm giving you is the truth. I'm giving you a map or a guide on how to do these things. Look, I can't even get Justin to engage with me. I wait for Justin's voice to come over the Zoom call. I mean, he'll sit here and agree that we need to do these things, but you can't just sit and agree. You have to engage.
Right.
And you got to engage regardless of what city you're in, what area you're in, what state. I don't know.
Get engaged.
I don't know that it's a very big rant. And I know I try to keep these shows under an hour, but here we are at 2 hours.
Well, I am personally running out of time, so I don't want to cut you short. If you have anything.
No, I don't know where else to go for today. Just March 4th,
Be
if you're a resident
engaged.
of Ceres, you got to get on that call. You got to.
The link is in the show notes. Take a second, go to the show notes. It's right there. Bookmark it. Put it on your calendar.
Do they get the links on Facebook though? I don't think we put the links on Facebook.
On Facebook, you can click on the podcast. You can click on the podcast and then go to our Facebook or our website, and then the links will all be right there. But the best way to do it is just to subscribe to our podcast feed. Our podcast feed goes just directly on your phone, gets downloaded, then you can listen to it. I know John listens to it. I don't necessarily, I edit all the shows, so I listen to it at least once or twice. I don't need to listen to it again on my phone, but I do subscribe to it so I can make sure that everything comes out all right. But
I listen to it because I listen to, the Chad Prather show, the Glenn Beck show, Louder with Crowder.
Yeah.
I listen to Dan Bongino show. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
If I didn't edit it, it would fall into my regular rotation.
And the Chris Ann Hall Daily Journal.
Yeah.
I listen to, Quite Frankly, out of New York.
Mm.
And it's just in the regular rotation. I just play podcasts all day long.
Yeah.
And
I usually do too.
And when I'm tired of podcasts, I'll, usually have Waze on. If you don't use the Waze app, it's awesome. I've been using Waze for quite a long time. We can let each other know where the police officers are sitting.
Nice.
So I'm using that. I'm using the CB. We know where they're through Waze, where the road hazards are. People mark there's a car on the shoulder, or there's a hazard in the roadway.
Yeah, it's a good app.
Waze,
I use it all the time.
Waze, basically like Google Maps, shows you what traffic is ahead of you. It does have routing in it. I can't use the routing as a commercial driver because it's car routing, but
Waze is owned by Google Maps.
Through Waze, I can use my Amazon Music.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Or my podcast can be playing in the background of those. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much my listening all day long, 12 hours a day, is podcasts. And my own podcast is, of course, going to be in my rotation.
Right.
You want to see how poorly I mess up the editing?
No, even John likes to hear Angry John rant and rave. And there is some entertainment value to it, I think.
There is. Yeah, there definitely is. Well,
You didn't even use my intro video.
I didn't. You know what? I pulled it up last night. And I was like, oh man, I need to
Oh, you
download
made a
this and put this
special
in.
intro video?
But the problem is, I need to overlay some of the things that like you said and that Justin said that I clipped. So I'm gonna, if I get a chance this week, I'm gonna pull that and we'll make an intro for the show.
Yeah, I'll show you on the text message. It's a reface app deal.
Nice.
So
I thought it was pretty funny, and I'll overlay some stuff in. And
yeah, I would change the music. That's just the music you get with the app.
No, I'll keep the music there, but I'm gonna overlay some stuff over it. But anyhow, though, we're gonna wrap this up.
Get on that.
So I gotta go.
Get on that March 4th meeting.
Yep, get on the March 4th meeting. Check out our show notes. I do plug them, but there's a lot of good information out there. Get involved. Give us a call, 209-214-8099. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio. We'll catch you next time.